The people who have the hardest time, we had a guy in a workshop in the UK, and this guy's head was exploding. You know, he was just like, I just don't understand, you know, there doesn't seem to be any pattern, I need to know somewhere to go to. I go, we're just doing an illustration of working in a particular way. Now we're going to do a different, we're going to do a different one next, which is called Insane Solutions. We'll
I like that.
At this juncture, I need to make it perfectly clear that insane means insane, not mildly eccentric or slightly unusual. So, in this context, the nuttier, the better. And for those of you who are NLPers, which most of you are, remember, good sensory rich language, good detail, and when you're giving the suggestion, it's completely as somebody seriously talking to the other person. So, I'm going to need another volunteer. Oh, okay. You thought about it. Yeah. So you're happy to talk about it in the group? Okay, then come on up.
I don't.
Huh? You all happy to talk about it?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, come on up. I have to always be on this side, otherwise it doesn't work. So I'm going to move you around. Okay. Now, this is another part of the toolkit. If I was working with private clients, I might move between some of these different elements. Also, I was going to do another aspect to this here, but this room's a small room, so we can't really do it. But if you practice this elsewhere, one of the things that's interesting is if you start talking at this kind of a level, and then you just take the voice down a bit, and notice the difference in that way. And periodically, just stop. Because that also provokes a response. So there's lots of different ways to provoke responses with different clients. Okay, so 4 minutes timer. All right, there's your badge on. You hit it. Okay. So, what's the problem?
Well, I think I have a belief that I
You think you have.
must be believed for something else that I
Yeah,
can't.
sounds very detailed and precise. Carry on. Yeah.
That I can't find a relationship of somebody in their 20s that meets the criteria that I'd like.
The criteria.
Yeah. Or that I have a hard time attracting relationships that I want, rather than people that are much older than me, or rather than people that I'm not interested in.
Well, what have you tried?
Like, I know if I have a pair of shoes that I want, I can go out and find exactly what I want easily. And that doesn't seem to be the case with relationships for me. Like, I know a lot of.
Well, you see, if you think about this. Okay, think about this. You've got your shoe stores. Are you based in California or in New York?
California.
You have to think about it for a minute.
Well,
Sure.
The reason I say New York is I think my media work will take me to New York. So
Okay.
I see myself there.
See what? You know, like when you go into a shoe shop. What size feet are you?
9.
9.
Yeah.
Is that big?
I thought you were going to make a comment about club.
Well, I wasn't. But now you mention it.
No. No,
They do seem. I don't know if it's whether it's the heat and it just got bigger while we're in the room, or it's just that color against the carpet. Do you think that the feet may be a factor in this? Okay, well, I mean, see what you want is like, you've got shoe stores, yeah? You know shoe stores?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking, yeah. Music store, been to a music store before? Yeah, okay. It's not a trick question, it's just no question. See, what you want is you want to have a guy store.
Yes, I know.
You go in and you say, okay, I'd like someone. Firstly, before we see any samples, I need to see the last 6 months bank statements. Yeah? No losers. Then you say, I think probably about what sort of height would be good?
I'm 5'6", so maybe like 6 feet.
Okay, so 6 foot, brown hair, blonde hair, black hair.
Whatever. I don't just.
Well, you just don't care.
Oh, okay, maybe darker hair.
Darker hair, okay, 6 foot, darker hair. All limbs or not bothered? All limbs or not bothered?
All limbs.
All limbs.
I prefer.
Prefer, but if he was really cute and he just had like one arm.
I don't think so.
Maybe. Okay, maybe. Okay. All limbs. Okay. Blue eyes, black eyes, brown eyes.
Maybe dark hair, blue eyes, or.
Okay. So that would work. That would work. So what else have you done to get any of these guys?
Not much.
Not much.
I'm just really busy.
Have you done all the typical women things? You know, like flip the hair, you know, flutter the eyelashes.
I don't see the young, interesting ones.
You live in like some old people's home or something?
No. I don't know where they are.
You don't know where they are? Did you think about maybe, what about a TV advert?
No.
Well, that's a possibility. That's a possibility as well. Or if you want to go like reduce the budget, you've seen these guys. You have over here McDonald's. Been to McDonald's?
I don't go to McDonald's.
Okay. You don't go, or you're not admitting to going because that's different.
No, I'm a vegan. What the hell is that?
Vegan? Not much. Okay. Well, another thing is you could get one of those billboards around your neck. You say 6 foot guy needed, good bank statements, preferably all limbs, but if particularly cute, possibly maybe some kind of a waiver. Apply in writing for interviews.
Like writing? Why writing?
Okay, by phone.
Why phone? Why not in person?
Okay, in person. So you could set up an interview section.
Yeah.
And then you pick out the best one.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. No.
I'm thinking it may be to the ones that I like. I'm giving off some type of odd vibe of don't tell me.
Odd. Ooh. Like what?
I don't know.
Well, I think that's a possibility. Let's not rule it out. At least if you've got the billboard, you also keep extra fit as well. With all that walking up and down. You know.
Right.
Yeah, that would. Okay, so do you have any reactions, responses? Going into some deep meditative, transcendental state.
Not really.
Oh. while you're thinking. Okay, so what do you guys notice from her reactions, responses?
Think you're nuts.
Yeah.
I started, it relates to the other exercise in that by presenting the insane, it starts her to think about the not so insane. But also interesting is she started to go along with you at the end. And it was like, well, okay, yeah, like we could kind of create this website or whatever and search for a store, and these criteria would be okay. So it's kind of interesting the way she started to go along.
A lot of clients will do that. I had a client who came to see me for. We were talking about this in one of the interviews I was doing. Extreme jealousy. Oh, it was last night. We were talking about it last night. Extreme jealousy. And this girl rang me up and she was absolutely at mental and emotional boiling point. And I always remember because she was the most anxious, jealous client I've ever had. So she comes in and I say, okay, so what's the problem? She goes, well, I've had, I have like extreme jealousy. My last relationship ended after 6 years. I'm now with this new guy. We're engaged to be married, but I'm just driving him away. So I get more information from her and find out that she feels jealous about everybody he has been with, or she imagines he has been with, or she imagines he has thought about in the past. Anybody who he sees in the present, or she believes thinks about in the present, and anybody he could see or think about in the future. Now this guy is screwed. Not in a literal sense. And I was thinking, God, I'm struggling to get this crazier than it is. And that is really something. And then I sat back, and usually with these kinds of exercises, the secret is just relax and just hear the stories and the words and the pictures and all the different information coming through. And then it came to me. I thought, got it. I said, okay, so do you guys, at this time American Idol was on in the UK. I said, do you guys ever watch American Idol? And she goes, sure, yeah, we love American Idol. I said, okay. Now, when you watch American Idol with him, this is important, so you need to pay attention. I always like to do that. This is scientifically important that we get the right information and the data here. We already know that he's thinking about the women. So we're reinforcing that. Have you, at any time, in any instance, even if it's just fleetingly out of the corner, even if you're not just quite sure, any point, did you ever see him looking at the guys? And she goes, well, no, it's not the guys. I said, when you've been out in restaurants and you've been served, is it normally waitresses or waiters that serve you? And she goes, well, usually it's waiters. You noticing a pattern here? Any time when you've been served, especially when the waiter's walking away, have you ever seen him just glance and maybe a little raise of the eyebrow kind of response? She said, well, I don't think he's gay. I said, I'm not saying that he's gay, I'm just trying to gather information here. Now he kept going down this route. And then I thought, it's kind of nutty, but it's not nutty enough. So I said, okay, now, do you have any pets? He says, well, I don't. We're thinking about getting a pet. I said, okay, now, this is important. Have you ever seen him at any time eyeing up, not the little chihuahuas, but like, the larger pets with perhaps something that may be considered to be a little more than affection? And she said, well, no. Now, at this point, she's shifted internally into a whole bunch of different scenarios. And she actually feeds back to say, now I think about this sounds a little bit nuts. And I go, well, I don't think so. Now, if you think about it, let's establish a few principles, things that we know for sure, right? Number one, you get pictures of him doing other things with other women. And she went, yeah, that's all the evidence you need. Done and dusted. Now after, in the end this was 3 sessions, which is unusual. Normally I'd do 2 sessions with clients with this. And by the end of it, who here had an experience that at the end of the session of being the client, you felt a bit spaced out or a little bit disorientated? Who here had that? Okay. Because we did some stuff on Friday as well, and usually what happens is the old pattern of what's happening has been shunted around so many different ways, especially if you use a lot of sensory-rich language, that they're going here and they're going here and they're going here, and they keep kind of trying to come back to things. By using the more insane approach, we've got license to do anything. It doesn't have to be real. It's as nutty as it can be. And usually it takes the client outside of their previous stuck state. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 4 minutes again. Let's have different groups. So swap around, have a different group. So one person's the therapist, one person's a client, one person's a timekeeper. Now the job of the therapist is to increasingly make crazier and crazier solutions. Now, if the solution you're making isn't producing a response, then shift to something else. Don't stick on the one that's not working. Move to something else. And here's a secret. Go into detail and keep absolutely straight-faced while you're doing it. Absolutely. So that you're totally convincing, which for the likes of yourself will be perfect. 4 minutes, a little bit of feedback, swap around. Yeah.
Excerpt